Once upon a time, in the warm golden heart of Africa, there lived a lion named Leo, who was, by far, the strangest lion the jungle had ever seen. He wasn't fierce, he wasn't scary, and he wasn't even that good at roaring. But what made Leo truly different was that he wanted to become a human. While every other lion in the savannah spent their days napping under trees or hunting wildebeests, Leo spent his time staring at tourists, completely fascinated by their clothes, their gadgets, and their shiny shoes. Every time a jeep passed by with humans clicking pictures, Leo would tilt his head and whisper, "Wow, look at them. They wear pants. They eat from tiny boxes. They even talk into little black rectangles." The other lions would roll their eyes and yawn. "You're weird, Leo," said his sister, Lyra. "We're lions. We don't wear pants. We don't talk to rectangles." But Leo was stubborn. "Maybe lions don't," he said, "but I will. I'm not just any lion. I'm Leo, the future human." That night, while the pride slept, Leo crept out to the nearby tourist campsite. He rummaged through bags and tents, his paws shaking with excitement. When he returned to his den at sunrise, he was wearing sunglasses, a floppy hat, and a ripped Hawaiian shirt that said, "Chillin' in Kenya." He strutted through the savannah, chest puffed, trying to walk on two legs like the humans did. Every step was a disaster. He wobbled, slipped on a rock, and fell face first into the mud. The monkeys in the trees howled with laughter. "Hey, Leo," one shouted. "Nice shirt. You going on vacation?" "Very funny," Leo mumbled, wiping mud from his whiskers. But he didn't give up. He spent days watching humans from afar, learning how they moved, how they ate, and how they laughed. He tried mimicking their speech too, though to the other animals it just sounded like he was coughing up hairballs. One afternoon, Leo was sitting by the watering hole wearing his sunglasses when his best friend, a talkative parrot named Piku, landed on his head. "You've lost it, Leo," Piku said. "You're a lion, not a human." "Maybe," Leo said, "but humans have everything. They have houses, food, music, even dancing. All we have is mud and fleas." "You also have claws, teeth, and freedom," Piku reminded him. "Humans don't even nap properly." "I can nap later," Leo said confidently. "First, I need to learn how to use a spoon." That's when his crazy plan began. Leo started training to live like a human. He built a fake kitchen out of stones and banana leaves, pretending to cook imaginary food. He tried holding a spoon with his paw, but it kept bending. He used a leaf as a plate, filled it with berries, and said proudly, "Bon appetit," before sneezing the whole meal into a bush. He even started brushing his mane with a porcupine's quills, which did not end well at all. "Ow, ow, ow," he yelped, hopping around while the porcupine chased him angrily. Despite all the failures, Leo didn't quit. One night, he saw a delivery truck filled with fruit heading toward the city. Without thinking twice, Leo jumped into the back and hid among the bananas. The truck drove for hours until it reached a bustling town full of lights, cars, and noise. When Leo peeked out, his jaw dropped. There were humans everywhere. They were eating, talking, laughing, running, and carrying bags of food that smelled heavenly. "This is it," he whispered. "I'm home." He tried sneaking into a park, but the moment someone saw him, chaos exploded. "A lion! A lion!" people screamed, dropping their food and running in every direction. Leo panicked. "No, no, wait! I come in peace!" he shouted, but his words came out as a series of growls. The police arrived, and for a second, Leo thought he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. But then, a brave little ice cream vendor stepped forward. The man had a thick mustache and a twinkle in his eyes. "Relax, everyone," he said. "He's not attacking. Look at him, he's wearing sunglasses." The crowd stopped running. Leo froze. The vendor smiled and held out an ice cream cone. "You're the king of the jungle, right? Kings deserve dessert." Leo hesitated, sniffed the ice cream, then licked it. His eyes went wide. "Oh, my stars," he said with his mouth full. It was the best thing he'd ever tasted. Within minutes, the whole town was taking selfies with him. Kids were hugging his paws, people were offering him snacks, and someone even put a tie around his neck. For the first time, Leo felt like he belonged. The mayor of the town, seeing how friendly Leo was, decided to let him stay for a few days, as long as he behaved. "I promise," Leo said proudly. "You won't regret this." But they definitely did. On his first day in the city, Leo tried to attend a human school. He wanted to educate himself, as he called it. But things didn't go quite as planned. When he entered the classroom, the students screamed and climbed onto their desks. "Relax," Leo said, trying to smile. "I'm here to learn." He tried sitting in a chair, but it broke under his weight. He borrowed a pencil, but accidentally ate it, thinking it was a snack. During lunch, he roared so loudly when he saw chicken nuggets that the windows rattled. The teachers were terrified. By the end of the day, Leo had been politely asked to leave. Feeling embarrassed, he wandered into a dance studio next door. The sign outside said, "So you think you can groove?" Leo peeked inside and saw people dancing to loud music. "I can groove," he said confidently. He jumped in and tried to copy their moves, but his tail kept knocking over chairs, and his mane flew in every direction. He spun, slipped, and fell straight into the mirror. The music stopped. Everyone stared. Leo stood up, brushed himself off, and said, "Well, I call that the lion shuffle." Surprisingly, people clapped. They thought he was part of a comedy act. Someone recorded the whole thing and posted it online. Within hours, Dancing Lion Tries to Be Human had over 1 million views. Leo became famous overnight. Reporters came to interview him, kids made drawings of him, and even the zoo offered him a luxury suite with free meals. But fame wasn't as fun as he imagined. Humans were noisy, busy, and always rushing. Nobody stopped to enjoy the sunset. Nobody took naps. They stared at screens all day, and even though they had everything, most of them didn't look happy. One night, as Leo sat on a rooftop wearing his sunglasses and eating a burger, Piku the parrot suddenly appeared beside him. "So, Mr. Human," Piku said, "how's life in the city?" Leo sighed. "It's weird. They have amazing food, but everyone's in a hurry. No one just listens to the wind or watches the stars. It's all noise, lights, and schedules." "Sounds exhausting," Piku said. "Maybe you miss the savannah?" Leo looked up at the moon. "Yeah," he admitted. "Maybe being human isn't as great as I thought." The next morning, Leo decided it was time to go home. He waved goodbye to the townspeople, who cheered and promised to visit him someday. Before he left, the ice cream vendor handed him a huge bucket of his favorite flavor and said, "For the king who learned to be himself." Back in the savannah, the other lions couldn't believe their eyes when Leo returned wearing his tie and sunglasses, carrying an ice cream bucket. "Leo?" his sister Lyra said. "You're alive!" "And stylish," Leo replied with a grin. "Also, I brought dessert." The lions gathered around, licking ice cream for the first time. Their eyes lit up. "This is incredible," said Lyra. "You really did learn something from humans." "I did," Leo said proudly. "I learned that you can wear cool clothes, dance badly, and eat ice cream, but if you forget who you are, you'll lose your happiness." The animals of the savannah listened as Leo shared his adventures. How he danced, how he went to school, how he became a meme on human internet. They laughed until tears rolled down their faces. Even the hyenas were impressed. From that day, Leo became a legend. Animals from all over came to hear his stories. He started a jungle school where young animals could learn important lessons like teamwork, kindness, and why you should never try to use a spoon with paws. He taught them about humans too, how they built amazing things but often forgot to enjoy life's simple joys. Every evening, Leo and Piku would sit by the watering hole, watching the sunset. "You know," Leo said one night, "I used to think being human was the greatest thing in the world, but now I know the truth." "And what's that?" asked Piku. Leo smiled. "The greatest thing in the world is being you." Piku nodded. "That's deep and also kind of cheesy." "It's true," Leo said, licking his ice cream. "Humans spend their whole lives trying to be lions, brave, strong, free, and I spent mine trying to be them. Maybe we're all just jealous of each other." They laughed, and as the stars began to twinkle, Leo stood up, stretched, and gave a mighty roar. But this time, it wasn't a roar of pride or power. It was one of pure joy. The sound rolled across the savannah, echoing through the trees. The elephants trumpeted, the zebras neighed, and even the monkeys clapped from the treetops. And somewhere in a distant city, a little boy who once took a selfie with Leo watched a video of him roaring under the stars. He smiled and said, "That's my friend Leo, the lion who tried to be human and taught me to be myself." The story spread far and wide, told in schools, homes, and bedtime stories. Children laughed at the parts where Leo danced and fell, and parents smiled at the message behind it. And if you ever go to that same savannah, you might just see a lion wearing sunglasses, walking proudly on 4 legs, and teaching little cubs how to love who they are. He might even wink at you and say, "Remember, it's okay to dream big. Just don't forget who you are." Then he'll probably trip over his own tail and laugh, because that's Leo, the lion who tried to be human, failed hilariously, and became something even better, the happiest lion on Earth.